All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Helm Developer Call, Thursday, November the 7th, 2024. This call was under the CNCF Code of Conduct, so we all need to be polite. And if you don't want to be recorded, the call is recorded, so please turn off the camera. Bye, Rob. uh, all right, let's get things started. Let me grab the agenda. Does someone have a link to it handy, or I'm gonna have to do my Windows shuffle on MacBook? Um,
Do you see it in chat?
Thank you. I will open it up. And running on my side. All right. So first announcement. No meeting next week, of course, because of KubeCon. I think we could probably add to the announcements that we have started the Helm 4 process. For those who are not aware, we completed the Helm 4 HIP, and thank you, Matt, for stepping up to be the release engineer rather. And I'm pretty excited, to be honest. This is going to be great to get things moving in the Helm 4 direction. So I think on this subject, we have the Helm 4 Contributor Fest and the Helm 4 presentation at KubeCon next week. The Contributor Fest is on Thursday, and the presentation is on
Thursday. They're both almost back to back.
Okay.
So it's a Helmathon on Thursday afternoon.
Awesome.
There's also the release that we're going to be doing live at the board at the demo fest at 7. I think is what. Yeah. So actually, I think we're doing it actually at the demo theater.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, well, we've said we're going to do it at 7 on Wednesday, which is the first day of all the sessions. That is when what is it? That's where you get to crawl all the sponsor booths and they put out the drinks and stuff like that. We're going to do it at 7 that night. I'm on booth duty at that point for the Helm booth. And so there's the project pavilion. We're going to do it in there. They're going to have a stage and we're going to try to get the stage to do this on. If not, we'll just do it in the booth. But we have a release going out on Wednesday, so why not make a spectacle of it?
We also have a blog coming out with that information too, in addition to the one Matt just published yesterday. So Matt published a more generic Helm at KubeCon, but then I put together one that's specifically around the release.
Yep. And we'll cut that one out tomorrow early.
Awesome. Yeah, so all on KubeCon next week. Should be fun. I will move on to discussion. So first I have Ingy. Welcome, Ingy. I don't know if we've had you on the call before.
No.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, it's Ingy.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's like nobody ever gets it right. And yeah, so I was talking to Matt yesterday and showing him some stuff, and I wanted to share it with you. So yeah, I don't know if so I'll tell a little bit about myself. I invented YAML back in the day. So, and in the last year, I took a sabbatical to, not really sabbatical, but to write a new programming language called YAML script, which just kind of started off as a kind of side project. And then I realized that it was like the answer to all the things that I've been trying to do for YAML over the years. It really makes YAML do what people need it to do for config, and including with large stuff like Kubernetes. And then I knew from the beginning that when I came around to talking about it with Helm that it had to integrate well with Helm. And I wasn't actually sure that it would. So I tried it, and it turns out that it integrates fantastically with Helm. And I have a demo to show you guys. So,
Yeah, awesome. I feel a little honored if, yeah, the inventor of YAML.
Yeah, as I say, the inventor of YAML. That's pretty awesome.
I invented YAML. I'm not the inventor. There's 3 of us, but that can say they invented YAML. But yeah, the other 2 have kind of stepped aside, and now we have a new core team of 5 people. Oh, real quick, I'll be giving a talk on. Are people going to be around on Friday next week at KubeCon?
I will
People
be.
hanging around that long.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm giving a tutorial on Friday afternoon on this whole thing. So, and actually, it was great that I connected with Matt yesterday, because I actually learned that my Helm presentation fell a little bit flat. It wasn't really useful, but then he gave me a couple of tips, and I fixed it yesterday afternoon, and so it no longer falls flat. So that's great.
If you have a demo, do you want to grab the share and show us?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, for sure.
George, you might have to make him a co-host for him to be able to share. The CNCF has locked down sharing a certain amount due to some events that have happened in the past. So if you make him a co-host, he should get the share button then.
I'm going to advanced sharing options. Okay, it says who can share, all participants at the moment.
Okay.
So I think you should be able to take over. If you want to try, if you can't, then.
And let me drop before I forget, I'll drop a link in the chat here. If I can I? There we go. So this is a blog post that I put out yesterday, and it covers, lightly what I'm about to show here. So let me go ahead and share. Yeah. And am I sharing?
Yep.
Okay, so I just shared everything. Okay, so what I did was I made a repo. Let's see. And is this font big enough for everybody? Everybody read that?
I can. Yep.
Thinks the language is called Smarty. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, let me go ahead and drop this link in the chat real quick. Okay, so yeah, so this repo has 2 commits. It has a commit of just running Helm charts. Helm create YS test chart, and then you can see in the commit message. And then what I did was I ran the output of Helm template dot in there through YAML script, which just read it in and spit it back out as YAML in the way that it would output it, slightly different indenting from normal, but the content is exactly the same. And that's stored in a file called .original YAML. So if I were to run make test here, let's see what happens. Okay, so I kind of put some lines between steps. The first thing I did was I run the script, which we're going to see a lot. This guy, and this just set up some stuff in this file called .helm YS. Some extra helpers that are needed. So, but let's actually let me go to the one good way to see the difference between. So what I did was I converted the templates to YAML script from the Go templating language, and then I compared the solution. And after Go template spit them both out the same, the exact same. And so if I were to look at this is what I'm looking for. I'm going to drop this link in for you, and you guys can check it out. It's a little program I wrote in YAML script, actually. So YAML script is a full programming language. It actually compiles to the Clojure, the Java language, but there's no Java involved at all at runtime. It gets compiled to a native binary and also a shared library that has a Go binding among 10 other languages. So, but if we look at this file, you guys can see the screen right here, right? So, so I took the helpers, the underscore helpers file from the default chart, and I converted it to YAML script. And so it's a equivalent comparison. This is a little widget I need to get the, actually it's a dummy template that publishes the capital R release variable. And I accomplished that by just putting that into a YAML script, a template that goes to YAML script and then pulls it in. So that, because that's baked into Helm, it's not stored in a local file, right? But here's the rest of it. Here's like the service account file. So you have the Go templating over here, and it just collapses to this. And so you can kind of see, I mean, this one really cleans up pretty nicely, the deployment YAML. Yeah. So what I could do here, I did this with actually it's you know, Troy, right, Matt? I did a little walkthrough with Troy last night.
Yeah, I know Troy.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is kind of telling. So we can actually like look at how this is working. What Matt told me about, I'm going to go ahead and do I created a make file just to, you know, make all of running this easy and replicatable. So I have a make Helm install, and let's do real clean, which will get rid of that little generated Helm directory, and we can see what it would do from brand new start. Oh, right, I said test install. So I already had that template installed, but let's start over again. Okay. So basically, Matt told me about the post renderer option for the install commands yesterday. And instead of putting a file name here, which would be an executable that the YAML would get passed through when it was done, I do a curl to a little script that I hosted. And this does a couple of things. It makes sure that YAML script is installed on your system under /temp, because most people aren't going to have YAML scripts. So this just makes people can run this immediately now with anything, with Helm 3. This would just work. I mean, that's what I'm showing. And then I also knew that there's a bunch of these little side files that I put into this Helm YS. So let's actually look in .helm YS and see what's going on in there. Yeah, so I realized having a default helpers would be useful. So instead of, you know, requiring you to do that, I just put the helpers file there. This is what gets run and then piped into bash. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That bash script that I showed, it does a bunch of things, and then it spits out the name of that file we were just looking at, which is now in it's the Helm YS run. Does everybody have any questions at this point? There's like of what direction I should go, or so it spits out the name of this, which is now executable. Yeah.
I was going to say this is super interesting. I think, well, at least to me, and probably to Helm in general. I hope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. How do I say this politely? I don't think anybody loves using Go template to create structured text from like an unstructured text formatting tool. So yes, clearly anything better than Go template is
cool.
And I think speaking loosely, I think the position of Helm needs to be like, how do we look to incorporate these sorts of tools into Helm to make them available to users? For YAML script, I do remember looking at it a couple months ago. It looks like a pretty nice way to parameterize YAML, which is what Helm is trying to effectively achieve. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts or questions.
I do have one question when you're typing E.
Yeah.
What's the path to a V1 for YAML script? Because I've noticed everywhere you're putting V0 to actually have something with a stable API. That's
right. So the idea with the V thing was I knew that in creating a language that I'd get it all wrong the first pass. But for people using it, I wanted their stuff to work forever, right? So the idea is that at the end of the year, I'm going to start doing this right after KubeCon, is that I'll declare by the end of the year, I'll declare V0 stable, and then V0 will be the stable one, and then I'll move on to starting V1, which can be break backwards compatibility if necessary. And yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Does that make sense or no?
Yes, having a stable API is an important thing, especially in the Helm community. So
Yeah.
Just knowing what your plans are around that. Okay.
Right. And at some point, if it becomes obvious that it's going to be backwards compatible forever, I'll drop the V thing completely. But yeah, I did that at the very beginning. Yeah.
And it makes sense. I mean, we're about to do Helm 4, so we can break backwards compatibility. So
Right.
I understand all too well. That's why I ask. Thank you.
Great. This is going to be the really interesting part, I think. So I just created a new chart, and now I'm inside that chart. By the way, the one caveat with what I'm showing you is you have to run the Helm command within the chart. And you know, talking to Matt yesterday, I mean, this has already progressed a lot since yesterday. I'd like to work with you guys to, you know, just kind of continue to work with you to see how to integrate this as an option for Helm users to use. And then it could be, you know, it doesn't have to be it'll be a lot smoother, but for right now, you do have to be in the directory. Just because that bash thing doesn't know about, I don't know, maybe I'll figure out a better way. Anyway, so do you guys normally run Helm commands within a directory? Probably not.
I think most users would probably take a chart from like an external repository or registry. And
but when they do the Helm install,
yeah,
they probably
you can tell it from an OCI registry or a Helm repository, and then in those cases, it doesn't matter your directory because the resource you're working on is remote.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So if I were to say make, and I'll use the make file from there. Let's see if I say test Helm, or say, what was it? Install. So this is a brand new chart with no YAML script in it, but I'm still going to pass it through the YAML script stuff, and it's still going to work, which is great because all YAML is valid. All valid YAML is valid YAML script, and it just does the same thing. And so what's happening here is that by the time the YAML scripts part gets the YAML, it's already been the template. The Go templates have been removed. So in fact, let's just.
Can I just interrupt for one second? I do have to keep an eye on the time. Sorry, we've only got 30 minutes for the total slot. If there's anything super relevant that we can quickly show, otherwise, yeah, sorry, I maybe should have given you a heads up a little earlier. I thought we were close.
Yeah,
close
I'm sorry, and I should have asked. I was thinking. Let me show you one thing that, I mean, this could go an hour long, but I won't make it. I'll just show something real quick.
Sorry, and
if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
So I was just seeing what Scott was saying in the chat.
Okay, so let's go into the service account thing, and I think I can run my test here. Sorry. Okay. Basically, I was trying to show. That one. Yeah, let me relinquish my time here.
So if I'm understanding correctly, I could, as a chart producer,
Yeah.
I could, my source code could be in YAML script. It would still produce a chart that I could then package and ship as Go template.
Yeah, absolutely. So what, basically, if the consumer, I mean, has to opt into using the plugin or whatever, however it gets packaged into Go. Right now, they would have to just use that the post thing. But Matt and I were talking about, other options. It could be like an environment variable, however you want to expose it. But after that, so basically what I was going to show here is that you can take stuff like,
Yeah, so I'll jump in as you're going, Ingy. So right now
Yeah.
you'd have to use the post renderer and have it go through YAML script for it to work. But one of the things we talked about is with Helm 4, is there a way to bring this in? Now,
Yeah.
right now, YAML script is written in, I'm forgetting, Clojure. And he produces things like, I think, an SO file. And so we'd have to figure out how do you do something like that, because we produce Helm as a single static binary without dynamic linking, so everything works everywhere. So there's a little bit of user experience stuff that might need to be dug into here, whether it's optional, not, how do we approach it? We didn't get fully into that, but if we wanted to do something other than post renderer, there's a little bit of work to do.
Okay, so let me interject with the time thing. But yeah, I think that would be the goal, would be to work out how to incorporate YAML script into Helm, which isn't post renderer, because that's not really incorporated.
I'll make one last point, is that it's not all or nothing at all. I mean, so like right here, I have half YAML script and half Go templating, and that would work. And the cool thing is, like, YAML script has, when I was playing with Troy last night, we curled in a file from the web and pulled data out of it. And so you can hit databases, you can do absolutely anything you can do with the programming language, and mix it with Go templating. So, if a user just wanted to take an existing thing and add one thing that they really needed that they couldn't accomplish with the Go templating functionality, it's easy. So, yep,
Nice.
that's it.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you for the demonstration. That was much appreciated.
Yeah, and sorry for taking up so much time.
No, it's good. It was useful to see. Sorry, someone had a question. Did someone? I think I interrupted someone. Was that?
Oh, it was probably me.
Okay.
So,
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you for the demonstration.
Yep.
I don't want to mispronounce the name again. Sorry.
Ingy.
Ingy. Awesome.
Yep, you got it.
So yeah, let's try and catch up at KubeCon. Let me move on for the rest of the agenda. And I should say one other thing that comes to mind is Matt had the idea that perhaps the rendering engines could be packaged as WASM plugins, which might be a valuable target to try and, rather than a shared object in a setup binary. But let's try and work out some more details at a more appropriate time. Sorry, I should keep on moving. Let's so we've got Emery's pre-delete hook item on the agenda, which I don't think Emery can make it.
Yeah, and we didn't make any movement on it this week. You'll see, the couple of us who are tagged on it are busy doing slides for KubeCon next week, so there was no movement.
Okay. A Blue Sky account from Karen. Is there any?
An idea, I guess, any responses? And does anyone know, do I go to CNCF and ask, or do I just deal with it?
No, we're fine. We'll just go do it. Kubernetes has already done it. We'll probably want the Helm.sh one. And if you want, I can pair with you or work with you on the DNS in order to make it work, so we actually have the domain name Helm.sh and it's verified.
Awesome.
All right, that's it.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you, Karen. So Matt, Helm 4 meeting in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we're kicking off Helm 4, and one of the things that's in there is doing a Helm 4 meeting. Do we want to start by just having a meeting and using the next one of these meetings in 2 weeks to do that? Or should I go and start off a one-off meeting separate from this? Any opinions?
I feel like we may want more time than the half-an-hour slot, at least initially. That would be my initial thoughts.
I'm in agreement with that.
So here's my question. Do we extend this meeting to an hour and do it, or do an entirely different time? And I realize scheduling can be hard for people, which is why I'm bringing this up. Everyone knows this is regular, right? I can try to set something up at a different time, but I want to be sensitive to times and scheduling. So I'm starting here.
I would say, I mean, as long as it's okay for people, the time to extend for an hour at this time, that would be great for me. I know we already have, the half hour on our calendar. So as long as folks that need to be there don't need to leave right after that, then that sounds great to me.
I would also suggest not bridging the 2 hours. So if we're right now at 12:30 to 1 Eastern, can we do 12 to 1 instead of 12:30 to 1:30? Because if we pick up two
Yeah.
different hours, it gets ugly.
So let's say the next one is 12 to 1 Eastern, which is 9, I think that's 9 to 10 Pacific, in 2 weeks. And that'll be the Helm 4 kickoff meeting. Does that sound good?
I'm putting it on
Yep.
my calendar now.
Checking calendar.
That is
Yeah, that's good to
November
me.
21st.
The only other comment, which isn't super relevant,
I will
is
not be able to
last
make
time we
that. Damn it.
uh,
I'm
right.
on a plane that time. Damn it.
Well, you really can't make it.
Yeah, that really can't.
sometimes Wi-Fi works on the plane. A little, sometimes. I
Should
was gonna
we
say, yeah,
set up
what?
a Calendly or something like this, or like a cal.com or some kind of something where
Yeah,
we can all just give our schedules
So I can do that. I mean, that's why I said I would start here. If it doesn't
Yeah,
work
yeah.
and we want to try something else, so I'll go set something up where you can put your name and available time slots, and I'll throw a bunch of time slots on there and see what we can get set up. I'd like to do it the week after if we can, but I'll go ahead and take charge of setting that up.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
So I will make you moderator for next call next, because that will be after KubeCon. It'll be
Sure.
as the release engineer. Onto assignments. There's obviously social media amplification. Blog post and live release at KubeCon. Roberts, the intention here is to do what we talked about, I think, with the announcements.
Yeah, a blog post went out today. We're gonna have another blog post going out tomorrow. If we could social media amplify both of those, it would be great. And we can probably set up the Blue Sky account today. Karen, do you think we can pair and get that done?
I think so.
Okay.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Notes. I can do notes.
Quick question about the amplification. I know we have the Helm maintainers channel, but for anyone else who's not on that list who wants to help amplify, can we maybe in the Kubernetes Helm dev channel just send out the links to what we want to amplify so folks can help?
Awesome.
Cool.
Right.
Sorry, it's 1 o'clock. That was just a quick question.
Yeah. Already. Yeah, let's drop links and yeah, let's coordinate the amplification and Helm maintainers, and we can put things in Helm dev. That's a good idea. And we should probably also just advertise on Helm dev generally about KubeCon.
Would you guys be all right with me joining that meeting or the meetings in general?
Yeah, this is the Helm for
Sure,
development.
they're open to everyone. They're open to everyone.
Yeah, I know. I just asking if it was appropriate or not.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
encouraged.
open to everyone, it's best. Yeah, that's a better word, encourage. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for offering to join. Issue triage. I'll stick my name down for issue triage and PR review. And I will be here next week. 2 weeks time. And does anybody else have to do issue triage and PR review?
Oh, I'm sure I'll be in there, especially if I'm traveling. If I'm sitting in my hotel room, things like that, I'll find a little bit of time here and there.
Oh, as well.
That's just saying the slides are all done.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Normally they get done about 2 minutes before the presentation, right? All right, we're a couple minutes over time. So we should probably wrap up. Thank you all for the time, everyone. Thanks for the presentation on YAML scrapping. Ingi.
You're welcome very much.
That was much appreciated, and it's good to see new things that we could try to incorporate.
Excellent.
Right.
Matt, do you have a few
see-
minutes after the call, or are you on to the next?
Sure, I got a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will try not to close it. Apologies if it kicks you out.
I-
You have to rejoin.
Go ahead and just hit stop recording, and that should be fine.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and see you next week at KubeCon.